What's up, Blarg? Blarg report. Blarg, you missed the live stream to record on the other side, but it's okay. I downloaded it myself, and I'm gonna reply to it. Blarg, I'm not. I don't spill tea on live shows. I save it all for YouTube videos. You know, I figure it's better. So. But I'm saying the other side spilt some tea, and I got around saying it.
Yeah, so I literally only did one broadcast on the EDWIN situation, and let's see, if I go to the browser. Well, first let me talk about the beginning of this situation. I had asked him to leave, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna give you a month and a half. You know, I'll give you a month and a half. I just was like, I can't live with you. And he was like, he was clearly unhappy. He didn't hate me. He told me he didn't hate me. He was relatively understandable. And we were on weird terms, but okay terms, because you know when you're living with someone, you ask them to leave. I wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna kick your ass out. I wasn't like, get the fuck out. Which is the way that his first video portrayed it. It wasn't like that at all. And, well, let me turn this down. Let me turn this. Yeah, which is how the video portrayed it. Was like, he kicked me out, my roommate kicked me out. But I had asked him to leave, and I gave him like a month and a half in advance, and I was like, I'll help you move out, you can come film with me whenever you want, whatever. I understand if you're mad at me. Whatever. So anyways, a couple weeks go by, I go on a little trip to Washington, and I come back, and on the day that I'm coming back, he bounces, leaves some things here, and I'm like, what the hell? He was even texting with me. He was like, oh, when are you uploading your new video, whatever. He was liking my posts, and then out of the blue, he disappeared. And was like, and then like, oh, a couple days later, drops the fucking, CYR kicked, my roommate kicked me out. And I was like, wow, that is very like, story timing. You know when YouTubers do that, when they take a situation, they make it fit their narrative? That's exactly what it was like. And I was like, that is so, that's so fucking cheesy, because we were on relatively good terms. Like, we were hanging out the day before I left for Washington. We're hanging out, I'm in Washington, things are fine, I come back, and he bounces, takes things, and then just drops out of nowhere a fucking, oh, my roommate kicked me out video, I'm such a fucking victim. And then, so, it's funny because later on I found out from a very close mutual friend that he was planning on leaving anyways. He was planning on moving out anyways. That's my friend Garrett in the background, by the way. He was planning on moving out anyways. So, this didn't affect him as much as he had made me feel like it did. He was like, oh, CYR's evil for kicking me out, when I had found out later that he was planning on leaving anyways. He hated my relationship with DASHA. He's always hated my relationship with DASHA because I finally ended up with somebody who makes me happy. And it's funny because he tried in his hour-and-a-half long video about DASHA, and he made an hour-and-a-half long video. Not only did he spend, what, 3-4 weeks on a fucking hour-and-a-half long video, that's probably the most important video that he's ever made in his entire life. And he got the views for it, I'm happy for it, but he milked it out for fucking 4 months. Okay? And he makes an hour-and-a-half long video about how evil DASHA is in my relationship. And how could you not... I'm not a fucking idiot. You know, if I was being emotionally abused in a relationship, I would get out of it. I'm not a weak person. I've been in enough relationships to tell when shit isn't going to work out. I get out of the relationship. Granted, people fight in relationships, and what he did is he posted screenshots that were completely unrelated to his video, but he posted screenshots of me venting to him about when DASHA and I got into a fight. You know what happens when you get in a fight with your significant other? What do? You talk to your friend about it. You vent to them. You say, God, dude, she's being such a fucking bitch right now. she's saying this fucked up shit. Because when you're in a fight, you say fucked up shit to each other. It's what happens when you really care about each other, and then suddenly things aren't working out. You say shit to get to each other because that's just what you do. Under no circumstances have I ever felt like I'm being abused. I'm actually very fucking happy. I'll tell you how my day goes. I wake up with Dasha. I'm fucking stoked that she's right there. I go down. I hang out with my friends. I go to the coffee shop. I come out. Usually we'll do our own things throughout the day. And I will we'll play video games together. We'll binge watch TV shows together like a fucking average couple. Sometimes we fight. We fight over stupid shit sometimes. A lot of it has to do with insecurity on both sides, because when you get into a relationship, you have insecurities, because the more you care about it, the more you fear about things going wrong. And the way that he portrayed our fights in this relationship was he just used it completely unrelated, screenshots without anybody's consent, put our screenshots of our conversation in his video out of context to make it look like she's this fucking crazy bitch, which she's not. And I fucking tell you, I've been in a fuck ton of relationships in the last 10 years. I have a pretty bad record of breaking up with girls. I will not stop to break up with a girl if I'm unhappy. I've done it enough. I mean, it's just frustrating to see that. And like, gosh, fucking, anyways, the thing is, we had agreed on a time of which he would come to pick up. Okay, let me refresh things a little bit. We had a talk on Skype or on FaceTime for like an hour after he uploaded the "My Roommate Kicked Me Out" video, which I was like, that's fucked up. That you portrayed it that way when it was clearly not that way, and he agreed to it. He's like, well, what do you want me to do to fix it? And so I went on a 3-week trip to Washington to see my brother because some shit was happening. And before I left, I told Edwin, I was like, hey, I can let you pick up your stuff. I'm going to be out of town. We can arrange a time for you to pick up your stuff when you get back. When I get back. And he was like, okay, cool, sounds good. Literally the day I get to Washington, I have Garrett, who's here with me, house sitting for me, who says that Mina and Edwin are trying to get into the house. Fortunately, I had the locks changed because I felt like this was going to happen, because sleazy things like this happen. So, of course, Garrett's in here, I'm in Washington, he's like, yo, Edwin and Mina are trying to get into the apartment right now, what should I do? And I was like, I don't fucking know. Anyways, Garrett ends up calling them out for it, and they're like, oh, we were just testing to see if the locks worked, whatever. This was already over a month after the situation when Edwin had already abandoned everything. We had agreed on a time for him to come and pick up his stuff, and was he just expecting to go into my apartment while I was gone? He did not pay the full rent the month beforehand. He had no right to be in this apartment. He left it on his own terms. Just testing the locks. And the interesting thing about the whole situation is that he made a vlog where he's coming back to downtown and he's like, oh, it feels so nostalgic, whatever, but he failed to mention that he was coming back to get his stuff, which was also sleazy. I'm glad that didn't fit your story. So anyways, we find out, Garrett calls him out on a comment, and Garrett was like, if I knew you were going to be there, I would have let you know. Well, of course you did. You expected to come in and have nobody know. I have a bunch of witnesses outside that saw you and Mina come inside. I have Garrett, who was on the other side of the door. You wanted to get into the apartment without anybody knowing. And take your stuff and leave. That's not okay. Ooh, I'm thirsty. Anyhow, the situation is also complicated because Mina and I dated for 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, about over a year ago. And the reason it's complicated is because after we broke up, I was with Dasha, and so Dasha and Mina didn't get along very well. La-di-da-di-da. I mean, you kind of expect that, right? When you date a girl, or when you're dating a significant other, the ex-significant other, they're gonna not like each other most of the time. Not all the time. But, anyways, so there's a couple months of, like, shade getting thrown back and forth between them. And I go to Ohio for Christmas. And at this point, Dasha and Mina are actually kind of friendly. They're talking and stuff, whatever. Dasha ends up asking me about, like, my relationship with Mina and why we broke up, and I explained to her why it ended up that way. I ended up apologizing to Mina with the way that I treated her when we broke up. I was crying in front of Mina, telling her I felt fucked up about all of that. And so Mina was like, I forgive you, blah, 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 it happens, whatever. I told Mina, I said, hey, how about this? Since you're friends with Dasha, I'll fly you out. And so it happened. I bought a ticket for Mina, I flew her out, she stayed over. It was, I don't know, it was kind of weird at first because she stayed with us, and it was just kind of weird with them both being here, but I'm trying to think of, I don't know, it was interesting because when an opportunity is presented to you, you want to try it out because you want to see what it's like. So I'll just come out and say we tried to have a polyamorous relationship, and I'll come out and say that we try to have a polyamorous relationship, and it was, of course. Because apparently Mina had gone to the roof and was crying and asking Dasha, saying this is what she wanted. I had a long talk with both of them. They were like, yeah, let's do this. Mina was in full support of a polyamorous relationship happening. Edwin was like, this is fucked up. You guys this polyamorous relationships don't work out. I want Mina gone, whatever. I basically came to the conclusion that polyamorous relationships aren't for me. So I was kind of not really feeling it most of the time because I am already busy enough to where I can't really think enough. But yeah, they were both really in favor of it. We had to clear up a lot of like shade that we had amongst each other, like during the relationship. My biggest thing was with Mina was that I had heard from a lot of people that when she was here, she wanted to hang out with Mike Diva to get close to Filthy Frank. And then after all this happened, there have been two very close friends. When I broke, okay, let me get to this weird thing about Mina. When we broke up, she could not stop harassing me on the internet. And the breakup was not weird. The breakup was like, I was as nice about it as possible. She just kept going on the internet. She contacted all of my ex-girlfriends. So many girls that I had even just spoken to that I didn't even have a relationship with. And she was like, I'm so sorry that you had to interact with Vince here. He's so evil. My ex-girlfriend, who knew me really well, was like, no, that doesn't sound like the Vince that I know. She went and contacted people in my real life, my personal life. It was really fucking awkward. And then like one day she texted me and she's like, oh, do you know about iDubbbz? I have the text messages. She was like, do you know about iDubbbz? And I was like, what about him? She was like, do you know if he's single? And I was like, I don't know. Why don't you ask him yourself? I found out later she has these fake accounts that are that are like tagging her and iDubbbz together. And there are 2 of her close friends that have come forward and told me that she had these fake accounts that were shipping her and iDubbbz and shipping me after we broke up. And text messages of her saying to somebody, oh yeah, all you have to do is make Instagram accounts and fan accounts of you shipping them together, and usually it'll get the YouTuber's attention. So when I put this together, I was like, this is really fucking weird. So iDubbbz messages me and he's like, who is this person? She seems really fucking weird. She seems kind of fanny. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I broke up with her, so I don't know what to say. But my problem was like how much she harassed me and tried to get as much fucking online attention after we broke up. Like, I was like, hey, we dated for fucking 2 weeks. Stop acting like we dated for a million years, because we didn't, and you're making it seem like it was the most important thing in the world to you. It wasn't. I don't know why you're going and contacting every single girl, people that I've had relationships with for years. She followed people that I wasn't even following, ex-girlfriends I wasn't even following. She found these people out, and then she DM'd them and was like, oh, what happened with your relationship with Vincent? And they're like, who the hell are you and why are you talking to me? Anyways, after the breakup, it's just interesting because, like, so he was like, oh yeah, my vlog channel just took off because YouTube liked it. I guess YouTube just chose me. He literally said that in the FaceTime call. He was like, oh, I guess YouTube chose me. Oh yeah? I'll show you how YouTube chose you. He wasn't really... Why is this not showing up? Okay, here we are. Alright, so if you go to his YouTube channel, look at the thumbnails and look at the titles. Okay, so if you look at his overall views, he got around 2,000 to 4,000, 5,000, give or take, per video. Then all of a sudden, there's a thumbnail with me, MINA, and DASHA. This is when he would not vlog that much. 129,000 views. He has 2 girlfriends, smiley face. She's a bad girl with MINA. She did a bad thing with MINA. Her first time with MINA. We're just friends, that kiss with MINA. My roommate kicked me out of our apartment with MINA. Clarifying some things with MINA. I was getting emotional with MINA. She's using me with MINA. A message to my best friend with MINA. How the drama is affecting us, MINA. Edwin and MINA get kicked out by CYR and DASHA. Sharing our thoughts. Sharing our story. Whatever. This is over the course of, 4 months. So after I kicked him out, he did the my roommate kicked me out, clarifying some things. How the drama is affecting us. Edwin and MINA get kicked out. So this is him making videos over 4 months. Over the course of 4 months. Simply because I asked him to leave. This is all because I asked him to leave. And because I decided to have a relationship and keep somebody here who I care about. And he couldn't fucking get over that. And he was like, oh, I don't do it for the views. YouTube chose me. These are all my epic videos. And it's interesting because when MINA was living here, Edwin was totally against it. He's like, this is weird. This is too many people. It doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm out of my creative zone. And then of course, as MINA started, MINA and Edwin started flirting. Like, okay, here's weird. Here's the thing. When MINA and DASHA and I were in a relationship, sorry, it's difficult for me to articulate my thoughts when I'm in a stream. When MINA and DASHA and I were in a polyamorous relationship, I asked Edwin was like, this isn't gonna work, whatever. He said he'd respect that. But every time MINA would get drunk, there were 2 times MINA would get drunk. And they kissed like right in my peripherals. And I was like, what the hell? That was weird because it didn't bother me what had happened as much as it bothered me because Edwin told me that he would respect the relationship, because I wanted to make it work. When you want to make it work, you try hard and you set boundaries. And Mina had told me, she told me once it was because she thought it was me. She said she was so drunk that she thought it was me. Okay, Edwin and I look very similar. Another time, Dasha and I had gone into the restroom and came out and they were making out. And what I can't remember, Mina told me she did it to like get my attention. We went to the restroom, and then I told Mina, I was like, listen, do you not want this relationship, whatever? And she's like, I was just testing to see if you still cared about me. I wanted to see if you still loved me. And I was like, yeah, well, you don't do those kind of things to test people. You know what I mean? That's just fucking weird. And then Edwin takes me out and talks to me, and he's like, yeah, this polyamorous relationships don't work out, you know? She's just frightened and afraid. Anyways, they ended up getting closer together, and as they got closer together, there was like a divide in the room. And there was a divide in the apartment, and it just got severely uncomfortable. What I don't understand is the day that I told Edwin that I'm gonna have to kick him out of the apartment, Mina was like, oh, I still want to be in a relationship with you, but you can still be in a relationship with Dasha. You can be in a relationship with both of us at the same time, but we don't have to be in a relationship together. So I don't understand. Mina was not necessarily 100% clear on what she wanted until the day she disappeared. Her intention was still being in a relationship with me. That she was not clear about. People at the coffee shop downstairs had seen Mina and Edwin kissing when I was in Washington, when Mina's intentions were still to be in a relationship. So I was thrown off, and I was like, alright, well, fuck this. Is Garrett single and ready to mingle? Yeah, he is. No, he's not. He has a girlfriend. So yeah, everything, like I said, everything was just sketch and just so fucking complicated. And I was like, I'm not gonna do this relationship, whatever. They left. They keep making videos over the course of 4 fucking months, dude. Like, I don't understand. He's like, how the drama is affecting us, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Our thoughts. And I'm like, dude, you're the only one that keeps making videos of this. Every time you make a video of this, 20 to 30 to 50,000 people are seeing it, and it's perpetuating the drama. It's keeping it alive. You know what I said about it? I was in one, I did one Periscope about it. And then he was just like, 4 months, vlog. And I'm like, dude, you're acting like you're a victim, but you're perpetuating the drama. And when you keep perpetuating the drama, you need to expect backlash. I didn't say a single thing this entire time. And then I didn't say anything still, and he just drops an hour-and-a-half long vlog about it. An hour-and-a-half long analytical breakdown. Listen, just because somebody makes an hour-and-a-half long video doesn't necessarily make it true. The fact of the matter is, Edwin was already planning to move out. I heard this from a mutual friend that I met him through. It's a very trustworthy source. He was like, yeah, months before you even kicked him out, he was planning on moving out. That's why he didn't want to be on the lease. And I'm like, oh, well, now that's convenient. So just because I kicked him out, it's now convenient for you to be a victim when you were planning to leave in the first place. Were you just waiting for me to kick you out so you could make a video about it? It's just so fucking sketch. Like, just look at the titles and the thumbnails and tell me that is not over-sensationalizing something that really isn't that big of a deal. I politely, in the most polite way, over a 30-minute speech, asked him kindly, you can't be here. I'm going to help you move out. I want to make sure that you're not homeless. Whatever. Yeah, it's a little awkward. Then he suddenly disappears, drops a bunch of fucking videos. Drama. Dude, there's no fucking drama. I've not said a single fucking thing. Stop turning me into a villain when I'm not. I had a right to ask you to leave. It's my space. Anyhow, fuck, dude, it just pisses me off. Also, in the hour-and-a-half long video, there's a friend who's filmed in it who talked to me afterwards and was like, this is what Edwin would do. He would go to a friend's place, film him talking about the situation, and film Mina crying while he's telling the story to someone else. And this other person who was in the video was like, dude, I didn't want to be in the video. I didn't know I was going to be in a video. I didn't know that I was being filmed. That's fucking weird. And we have another mutual friend who came to us and was like, a very close friend of Dasha's actually, and was like, yeah, Edwin just kept trying to have me be in his video, and I didn't want to be in his video. His huge 130-minute video.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and follow us on Twitter to keep up to date on your favorite streamers. Blarg you later.